Hi, my name is Antonio Edward with shiz. Basically, I just had a few thoughts. There's a show on TV called Cosmos, and it's hosted by a doctor named Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think his name is. He is a very famous physicist, astrophysicist. He's charge of the Science Museum in New York City. He was born and raised there. And one thing that was cool is that he actually was taught and was mentored, actually. He was mentored by Carl Sagan, which is another very famous astrophysicist that died a few years ago. And so, but this show, Cosmos, is more of an up-to-date version of the Cosmos that Carl Sagan did many years ago. Because the information that Carl Sagan was giving out was pretty much right on target as far as the time that he made it. Now, of course, science has discovered a lot more things about the creation of the universe and science than previously known. So, sorry, my headroom is really bad. Let me see, let me readjust that. I'm trying to adjust this so it's not too bad. So I'm using my Dell Venue A Pro. But here's the thing. When it comes to the universe, it just fascinates me, which is the reason why I wished I got into physics, because it's just a fascinating topic of how things are created, how the universe is made. And one thing you have to look at is every single thing is not solid, like this steering wheel that you can't see, right there. Everything is not solid, like the skin, like my skin, the insides. But what makes it strong or powerful and what keeps it all together is the magnetic, orbits that it orbits. Because it's orbiting really fast, it's generating a lot of energy and it keeps it all together. And whatever is attracted to by using magnetic energy is able to keep it all together so that nothing penetrates it up to a certain point. Yes, things can penetrate this skin, but it takes a lot of force to do it. Like a gun or a knife or even just tapping on it with a small knife and pricking my finger, can break the skin. But that takes some force, and so that's what keeps us all together. This steering wheel takes a lot more force in order to break it or to bend it or to get it out of shape as to what we know as a steering wheel. If you take a large enough hammer and you strike with enough force, you can bend this steering wheel and it'll make it unrecognizable as a steering wheel because it bends it out of shape. But the atoms that are there holding this together, is basically a lot of magnetic charge and it's very tightly fit. The atoms never touch each other. Basically the orbits of these nucleus is able to keep it held together, but they never touch each other. In fact, they're so far away from each other, it's like taking Saturn and Mars and putting the distance between them. But the gravitational energy between the two is so strong that nothing can penetrate this steering wheel until you put something at it that's stronger than the hold of gravity of those atoms. I find that very fascinating, and how all that works. I remember as a kid, and this is why I probably should have been a physicist, because I remember as a kid, I would look at the dots on the TV screen. And we had the big CRT, the old big tube TVs, and because it was standard definition, there's not a whole lot of dots going up and down the screen. In fact, the highest you can go is like 480 I. So, and that means 480 lines of resolution going, up and down, or no, left to right, right? Up and down, right? So, because the dots per inch wasn't that many, and you're dealing with a 45-inch TV, which is an overblown TV, bigger than the size it needs to be, which was a big luxury back in those days. You can see the individual dots, the red, the green, and the blue. And depending on how bright the red dot is, how bright the green dot is, and how bright the blue dot is, determines my skin color. The color on top of this cap here. The color of my front and back skin there. The color of the sky, which is completely white. If you're looking at it completely white, well, this is kind of off-white. But if you're looking at completely white, all the colors are at full intensity. Full color on red, full color on green, full color on black. Takes a lot of energy to produce a white color. Black means that all the colors are off. No red, no green, no blue. That means no energy. There you go. And any colors in between. If you're looking at a full bright red, and I don't mean like light red, just full on red, that means only the red color is showing. The G and B, which is green and blue, is turned off completely. And then you mix them up a little bit, and you got all the colors of the rainbow, from red all the way down to blue. And of course, the colors go further than that, more than we can see. I mean, you got ultraviolet, you got infrared, and other colors that we just cannot see, because our eyes don't see it. Our dogs can see it, believe it or not. Our dogs have the ability to see beyond our spectrum, but they don't have as good as eyesight, but they can see more colors. And our dogs colorblind? Maybe they don't see exactly like red, green, blue, but they do see a mixture of some of those colors, and maybe a little higher or lower than what we can see. That's why some dogs can see ghosts and spirits. Who knows? We don't really know for sure, but it's just the way it is. So when you're talking, I thought about this based off the information I got from Cosmos. Not just Cosmos. I watch a lot of different science programs. I do a lot of studies. Like if Mr. or Dr. Tyson mentions something, or even Dr. Nye, and they mention something that I'm like, I want to do more research on that. I Wikipedia it, and I look at the definition, and then I look at the references. Now, believe it or not, Wikipedia is a good start to finding information for those of you who don't, believe Wikipedia is true. That's the truth. It's a good start. It's a good way to say, okay, I'm going to go to Wikipedia and get some information, then I'm going to do more research to get more information. And usually at the bottom of each Wikipedia page, there's a list of references that you can check on. So you click on that reference, and it takes you to like a university site or other sites that gives you more detailed information about why you're looking something up. And one thing I noticed is that I've always been into sound, and sound effects, and how sound travels, and how sound affects mood, and sound, I believe, it works like this. It interacts with every atom. So as you're talking, I'm hearing myself talk, not because of the internal vibrations of my lungs and my voice box is vibrating in within. I'm also hearing a feedback coming back off of walls, the sidewalk. If I'm sitting outside, the ground, the sound is bouncing back up. So that's how I can hear myself. But at the same time, that's when people say you don't really know what you sound like, because what happens is, as you're talking, it vibrates within you to hear that sound, and your ears interpret that as being sound. But you're also hearing feedback coming right back at you, which sort of cancels out a lot of your sound. So at the same time, you really don't know what you sound like until you record yourself. Recording yourself is not the best way to hear yourself either, because recordings have limitations. It's based on the microphone that you're recording on how good the microphone is, the speakers that are playing back the audio so that you can hear yourself. So there are limitations in that as well. So really and truly, do you really know what you sound like? Same thing as do you really know what you look like? A mirror can be warped. The camera adds on a few pounds. I look fatter on this video than I do in person. Okay. I'm not like Paula do, where I shrink the video so that I look skinnier than I really should be. So the thing is, you got to think about the way sound travels. It's going through the atoms, and sound is nothing but a pressure wave. Pressure. If it wasn't for the ears, we won't hear that. The ears read that pressure in the air and interprets it into audible audio, and our brain interprets the audio and determines what it is. Like right now, you probably hear traffic in the highway. Well, we already understand it because we experience that sound. We know what a truck sounds like when it passes by. We know what a car sounds like when it passes by. We know what a group of cars sound like when it goes by. You hear this constant roar, like an ocean wave that's crashing on the freeway. Not literally crashing like car accident crash, but it's a constant roar of engines going by. And that's what you're hearing. You're hearing engines, and you're also hearing the tires meet the gravel. That's what you're hearing on the freeway. So that pressure wave, as it's traveling through the universe, then this is the universe. Believe it or not, we are in the universe. I'm sitting in the universe because we are all part of this massive collection of atoms. And it's all squished together. In fact, Dr. Tyson said on his Cosmos show, I keep saying Dr. Tyson because is it Neil deGrasse Tyson? Okay. Dr. Tyson said that in one eyeball, we have more atoms in this eyeball than all the stars collected in the known universe. That is amazing. So you imagine all these atoms are compacted, and it's it's a squished together. And as sound travels through that, it travels through oxygen very well. Sound, what happens is as the sound is traveling, it dies because every atom absorbs that sound and then reverberates like a piano string. It's like a piano string. It vibrates and projects that sound further out until it hits another atom. Boom, 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 boom. And as that sound projects, boom, then another atom, boom, another atom, boom, another atom, boom. And it doesn't go away that quickly, of course. The sound travels more further than that, but imagine that there is a degradation of the sound as it goes and travels in the universe. By the time it gets to me, I'm not hearing that sound right away. It takes a while to get to me. So because sound travels only at a certain speed. So by the time I hear the sound, I'm hearing probably a lot of other things that is interfering. That's why sound cancels out. When sound cancels out, probably because there's a train going by, which is to the right of me, the freeway's over here, I got the sound of this truck that's collecting some of the sounds. I'm not hearing everything coming from that freeway because there are other things going on, other cars traveling in the other parts of the city, people talking and laughing in the background. And as these waves are colliding on this one atom, the atom is only going to be able to vibrate that sound only in certain parts. The closer I stand to the freeway, the louder that pressure is, the louder that sound is, the louder it will be as it's transmitting through the universe. I got a lot more to say about that. I'm not a scientist, okay? So if I got some facts wrong, I'm wrong. But the fact is, I just have a good understanding of how it works. I wish I was a physicist because I do believe that I have a lot of input and would have studied all these different ideas that come to my mind as maybe some of it's true. Oh, that's my tablet telling me my lunch break is over in 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna end this video saying peace out. See you in a minute. I didn't stop it. Shiz.